What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Jeremy Wormy. I'm coming at you with another video, and today we're actually continuing to talk about Square Enix, because it wasn't too long ago when we heard about Square Enix's new move to limit some of the production they were putting out, trying to steer the production in a different light, and that they were predicting about a $140 million loss next quarter. This was, I want to say it was about 2 weeks ago when we heard this. Yeah, April 30th. And it was an interesting thing. Now, at the time, I was not thinking this was a big deal. I still don't think that this particular move was a big deal because it's very obvious that Square Enix is having budgetary issues. Square Enix is struggling with the simple fact that both Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Final Fantasy XVI not doing so well. It kind of leads you in the realization that they need money. Now, are they hard for cash? No. But they have been struggling based on past business moves, based on past business strategies. And with their new CEO coming in, he has effectively changed how they're going to be doing moving forward. And one of those big changes that are coming is right here. Square Enix announces new plan to aggressively pursue a multi-platform strategy. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, Square Enix really has just been a mono-platform system for the longest time. They started out with Nintendo, they moved on, they've been with Sony right now. They've really only been like, hey, we mainly make games for this console. We mainly make games for this outlet. And if you want to get it this way, well, you got to go through this way. It wasn't valid until 2015, 2016 when Final Fantasy 15 came out. Now, not a great game, but that was one of their most profitable eras of Final Fantasy in a long time because guess what? They put it on all platforms day one. And then they immediately went back to putting it out on single platforms, on solely the PlayStation. Then when it came to Final Fantasy VII Remake, they made a lot of money with that game. It was marketed beautifully. People thought, hey, this is going to be a brand new era for Final Fantasy VII. And what they got sold was a bill of goods that they weren't very happy with, but a lot of people still liked it. And at the time that came out during COVID, when there was a height of PlayStation 4s. They were everywhere. People were indoor gaming still. People were constantly playing the game. So that game did very well. And then when it came out on PC a year later or a year and a half later, it did even better again. Got a lot of money. But then they had Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth come out, and they didn't do as well as they thought they would. They've been stuck on only the PS5, and now they're coming out saying, hey, we want to do multiple platforms. We want to change their strategy. And when you read this, it kind of, I agree with them. Square Enix has announced a new business plan that will see the company shift away from console exclusives like Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy 16. The new strategy will see the company aggressively pursue a multi-platform strategy that will see its games released across all modern platforms, including PC, Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation. This is a massive shift in the company's policy, which frequently saw games released exclusively, sometimes seemingly permanently, only on certain consoles like PS5 or Switch. And then we get this whole little bit from them themselves, diversity earnings opportunities by strengthening customers' contact points. Shift to a multi-platform strategy. For HD titles, the group will aggressively pursue a multi-platform strategy that includes Nintendo platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, and PCs, especially in regards to major franchises and AAA titles, including catalog titles. It would build an environment for more customers can enjoy our titles. In addition, it will also devise a platform strategy for SD titles that include not only iOS and Android, but also the possibility of PC launches. Now, I like what they're doing here. I do like what they're doing here because I'm not a Sony pony. I'm not a fan of Sony's platforms. I don't like their controllers. I don't like how they work. I know they are more like the preferred gaming platform for console players, but I like my PC. I liked my Xbox for the longest time. I've always been more of a Nintendo guy myself, but once I got my PC, I've been PC gaming. I like gaming on my PC. I get more access to games via my PC. And I'm a Final Fantasy fan, okay? I liked Final Fantasy VII. I had my whole playthrough here on my channel. I liked almost every second of it. I thought it was a good game. I thought it actually played well. I even liked the DLC. I have to take out the fact that it's not really Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's like a Final Fantasy 7.5, a new a new way to take the franchise, a new story, something completely different. I had to do some mental gymnastics to start enjoying it a little bit. But after I did start playing, and I did enjoy it, I thought the game was good. But I don't get access to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for another year and a half, even though it just came out, because I'm not chipping out a bunch of money for a PS5 just because I want to play a game. There was a time when I was debating it, but that time's long since gone, and I don't really like how PlayStation's been treating its customer base or anything like that. And on top of this is a big thing that people need to realize. Square Enix has become more of a Japanese title again. They went from being a Japanese-based gaming company to like Americanized, kind of mixing it back and forth between Japanese and Western. You get it, okay? They're now more focused on Japanese-based gaming. And when it comes to Japan, Japan actually has a different style of playing games altogether. They actually don't own a lot of PS5s. They actually don't prefer the PlayStation at all. They have Switches and PCs because of the major PC boom due to COVID. So they're trying to start hitting that market again as well, hitting that target as well. So them moving to a multi-platform structure is more profitable and makes more sense in the long run. I will say I'm not against exclusivity. I think some titles deserve to be exclusive, and I think some gaming consoles work best with some exclusives. Take Nintendo, for example. Nintendo has some great exclusives out there. Yes, they might earn more money if they came out on all platforms, did not have exclusivity. I know there's a lot of people out there that say exclusivity is wrong. I think it works best in certain genres, certain areas, and certain companies, but it's very clear in the year of 2024 that a lot of these big platforms, a lot of these big consoles, especially after the issues that came out due to COVID, in which consoles weren't readily available as much, a lot of people went to PC gaming, and ignoring that PC base, ignoring these multi-platform bases is actually hindering these massive companies. Furthermore, the group will strive to maximize the acquisition of new users when launching a title, and that a recurring user after starting management of game operations, building continuous customer contact points of our titles by stepping up digital sales. Now, let's be fair. I don't like digital sales. I prefer physical sales. But when it comes to PC gaming, let's be fair. We're all digital buying right now. I would prefer to find a new system to integrate physical sales into PC gaming again. But right now, PC gamers, we're trapped in the digital market. It is what it is. And again, these are things that Square Enix needs to fix. Square Enix does need to find a new way to do it. You come over here to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was not a success for Square Enix. Now, was it a fail? Was it a bomb? No, but it did not succeed in the ways they wanted it. They wanted this game to reach similar heights to Final Fantasy VII Remake, and they failed at that. Okay, let's be real. Now, why did they fail at that? One of the big reasons, besides all the PR nightmares, besides the fact that the fan base became fractured, besides a lot of that stuff, one of the biggest reasons, limited PS5s. PS5's install base isn't as big as the PS4 install base at the time when Remake came out. I also brought up COVID. COVID is a legitimate excuse here because when Remake came out, COVID was at its peak. People were stuck inside. People were playing games then. Everybody had not everybody, but a lot more people had a PS4 than a PS5. And then the exact inverse happened. There's less people playing PS5s. There's less PS5 install base by comparison to PS4s at that time. So your game wasn't going to do very well anyways. Now, a good example of another game that didn't do as well that they were tracking, but they kind of, said, hey, it's a new title, was Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 16 did not track the same way that Final Fantasy 7 Remake did. Final Fantasy 16 was hindered by that. A lot of people said, hey, it's the newest title. It's going to happen. Not a big deal. Not as big of a love for this one as there is for Final Fantasy 7 as an example here. So when this came out, some people kind of scoffed at it. But the sole fact that now they are predicting that once it hits PC here in, I don't know when, a few months or so, because they're about to release a DLC for it, that will increase its actual player base. That will increase its player, like its profitability. More gamers will actually be coming around to play the game because now it's on another platform that's not just PS5. This, in the long run, will help Square Enix. This whole move will help Square Enix. And it's also very helpful right now, especially in the times that we live in. Let's be real fair here. Sony has been ticking its customer base off left, right, and center. Whether it's the Helldivers situation, whether it's the Stellar Blade situation, what have you, Sony has been struggling with good PR as of late. And Square Enix uncoupling itself from Sony assists in its PR, assists with its reach of games, and assists with them just becoming more profitable in the long run. I like this move. I think this is going to be a good move. I think this is going to be a good strategy. I can't wait to see how this plays out. And it kind of looks like when it comes to the next Final Fantasy VII as I'm going to be calling them, because it's Remake, Rebirth, who I don't know what the last one's going to be called. That one's probably going to be a PC launch as well. And that's going to see them have a much bigger player base, a whole lot better sales at launch. By comparison, this is going to be the move to make moving forward. And a lot more companies are going to have to hop on this bandwagon moving forward, except Nintendo, because Nintendo's cracked its own code, and that's a story for another time. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me get your guys' thoughts on all this down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it out, friends, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live, guys. And I'll see you all on the next one. Bye for now.